Please rise. Meeting's called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby?
Here.
Councilmember Page?
Here.
Councilmember Wassinger?
Here.
Councilmember O'Meara?
Here.
Councilmember Dolan?
Here.
Councilmember Stanger?
Here.
Councilmember Quinn.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Approval of the journal.
I move for approval of the journal of the meeting of October 14th, 2014.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The journal is approved. We have no bid openings this evening, so we'll move to communications.
Madam Chair, there are no tax compromises this evening, so we'll move to zoning matters. Under zoning matters, item number 1, 6th District.
Receive and file.
So ordered.
Item number 2, 6th District.
Receive and file.
So ordered.
Item number 3, 6th District.
Receive, file, and the county councilor be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Moving on to road and bridge matters, item number 1, 6th District.
Receive, file, and contract in an amount not to exceed $450,248.74 be awarded to LF Krupp Construction Inc., the lowest responsive bidder as recommended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Moving on to other communications, item number 1.
Receive and file, and there will be the order.
Item number 2.
Receive, file, and the county council will be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation, and that will be the order.
Item number 3.
Receive and file, and that will be the order.
Item number 4, 4th District.
See, file and the county council be directed to create appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 5, 6th District.
Receive, file, and the agreement be approved as recommended. And I have the same motion for item number 6.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 7, 7th District.
Receive, file, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 8, 6th District.
Receive, file, and the change of managing officer be approved as requested.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 9, 1st District.
Receive, file, and the county council will be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation. Same motion through item number 11, and that will be the order.
Item number 12, 5th District.
See, file, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 13.
Same motion, and that will be the order.
Item number 14, 6th District.
Receive, file, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 15, 6th District.
Please hold.
So ordered.
We have no add-ons, Madam Chair.
The county executive's not here, so go to report of special committees. Committee of the Whole. St. Louis County Council met as a committee of the whole on Tuesday, October 7th, 2014, to consider Bill Number 218, 2014, an ordinance amending Chapter 105, Title 1, St. Louis County Revised Ordinance 1974 as amended, County Municipal Court by repealing and reenacting Section 105.080 pertaining to court costs. All districts, the meeting was 4:30 p.m. Tuesday, October 7, 2014. I move that the report of the Committee of the Whole be held, meeting held on Tuesday, October 7, to consider Bill Number 218, 2014, an ordinance amending Chapter 105, Title 1, St. Louis County Revised Ordinance 1974 as amended, County Municipal Court by repealing and reenacting Section 105.80 pertaining to court costs be received, filed, and adopted as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The report is adopted. The number of speakers?
12.
12. Okay, we will we're gonna move to a public forum. We have 12 speakers tonight. Jim will call the names, and we ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. She will alert you when your time is up, and then we ask you to draw your comments to a close.
First speaker this evening is Gwendolyn Verhoff.
Good evening. Thank you for the invitation to speak tonight. My name is Gwendolyn Verhoff, and I'm a historian and a longtime resident of North County. I completed my doctoral research on Mallinckrodt chemical works and uranium purification during the Cold War. I'm grateful for this invitation to offer brief remarks in support of a resolution to be presented this evening by Sam Page. It's been suggested that something of historical context of uranium production in our county would be useful this evening, and so it's my intention just to speak to that for a few moments. As many of you know, uranium, as it occurs in nature, generally always appears alongside other elements in ore. These elements will slow down and stop a nuclear chain reaction, whether in a reactor or in a nuclear weapon. Designers at mid-century used to refer to these extraneous elements as reactor poisons. So the production of both reactors and weapons is contingent and absolutely dependent on having a very pure supply of uranium to work with. This was Mallinckrodt's contribution to the Manhattan Project, which it delivered by the ton by the summer of 1942 and through the 1950s and into the 1960s. In 1946, the federal government acquired just under 22 acres north of Lambert Airport for the storage of tons of byproducts from Mallinckrodt. These byproducts were piled to heights of 40 feet. This site received material almost daily until the middle 1950s, as it sat open to the wind, rain, and all manner of natural dispersion. In 1966, airport residues, by this time in upwards of 100,000 tons of material, were sold to Continental Mining and Milling Corporation. They were moved a few blocks to the north of the St. Louis airport in open trucks to 9200 Laddie Avenue. There, for a number of years, these piles also sat exposed to elements until the early 1970s. Corporate control of the Laddie byproduct shifted twice during this period until materials left from the processing at Laddie were finally deposited into the Westlake landfill in 1973. There, they currently remain adjacent to the burning Bridgeton landfill in North County. A partial list of radionuclides of concern in North County includes radium-226, uranium-238, and thorium-230. There are others, and also chemicals of concern. I would like to thank you again for the chance to speak to a question of very long standing in our county that all of us can care about together. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Ed Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening, Council. My name's Ed Smith. I work for the Missouri Coalition for the Environment. We work statewide on environmental issues, including the smoldering and radioactive Westlake landfill, other radioactive issues here in St. Louis. Start by thanking Steve Stanger and the Council for supporting a resolution earlier this year asking for the Corps to take over the Westlake landfill. We've seen some progress there. It's helped move our federally elected officials, and thank you for that. Wendy just told you kind of how it was radioactive materials were moved around St. Louis City and St. Louis County. Some of them even made it out to St. Charles County. What's being handed out to you right now is unfortunately going to be a little hard to see, but it's a historical map. So post-World War II, North County development was booming. A couple 100,000 people moved to North County in about 2 decades. And with that saw Coldwater Creek, which the radioactive wastes at the airport and Laddie Avenue and Hazelwood both sat along and entered the creek. And then these maps shown include Paddock Hills, Wedgwood, and Paddock Estates. So you can see over about 10 years as the development of North County took place, the builders of subdivisions and neighborhoods and what have you literally manipulated the creek, changed it, straightened it out, added different branches, one for a golf course. And so this just shows you that during this entire time of radioactive contamination of Coldwater Creek, without much actual public understanding of what was happening, people were moving this stuff around North County. The Army Corps of Engineers has a program called the Formerly Utilized Sites Remedial Action Program. They're in charge of all the radioactive sites in St. Louis City and County, except for the Westlake landfill, something you guys addressed in the previous resolution. They've removed over 13,000 train cars full of radioactive material and have a 100% safety record. FUSRAP was specifically designed by the federal government to address radioactive contamination related to our nuclear weapons program in the human environment. Other issues along Coldwater Creek over the years have included flooding, something we see everywhere, essentially where we have a lot of urban sprawl or subdivision development. You see a lot of more water going into the creeks, and therefore you see a lot of flooding. So not only would it have flooded or contaminated areas of Coldwater Creek along the actual creek, when it floods, they actually back up. So your tributaries and then actually south of the airport, we believe, are also contaminated, something that the Corps is looking at. Thank you for your support of increased investigation and expedited cleanup of the materials in North County and the push for a deeper health investigation. Thanks.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Janelle Wright.
Good evening. My name is Janelle Wright, and I grew up in the beautiful city of Florissant and lived there for 27 years. I am one of the co-founders of the 10,000-member Facebook group, Coldwater Creek Just the Facts Please, which we started in 2011 due to the fact that a lot of our peers are reconnecting with social network and discovered a lot of our friends were fighting horrific illness and dying an alarming amount of numbers. Also, in addition to having cancer, we had a lot of autoimmune disease, and several of my friends gave birth to children with cancer. And it got to be to the point where who didn't have cancer or MS or some other odd disease, it was very overwhelming. In case you don't know, there's a lengthy period between exposure to radionuclides and the presentation of disease. So you don't get sick the next day, you get sick several years later, decades later. So we all grew up there, had a very stable life there, living there, and then reconnected after we moved away to college, got married, whatnot. This Facebook group that I mentioned, we started collecting data very informally about all the illnesses that everybody was encountering. And that data grew and grew and grew. And as of last October, a year ago, we had a cutoff of the information to create some maps. And if you could, I brought some maps with me. If we could pass those along at this time to the council so they can view those maps. Those maps encompass what people came forward on their own free will. 3,300 people came forward, and they shared their detailed health history with us. And each dot on these maps that will be passed around represents someone who self-reported to us. These dots, I want to point out, most of the people who those dots represent do not live in those homes anymore. They grew up there. They were like me. They lived there a good 20 years. We were the first kids who grew up there. We were the first crop of children. And this is what's happened to us. It is our grave concern, along with the head of the state of Missouri and the health department and the Missouri DNR, that we have a situation there still that needs to take a much greater look at. Because again, we were the first children, and this is what happened to us. Anyway, what you're looking at, again, that's data that was reported last year, 2013, and we've met extensively with both federal government officials and state government and county health department, and the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services recently released a study showing that they also found increased rates of leukemia and other radiation-linked cancers, brain cancers in children, and other items in the watershed of Coldwater Creek. So we strongly urge you to support the resolution introduced by Dr. Sam Page to have further analysis done at the federal level of the health issues, because the state health report that came out that did find problems does not account for most of those dots. Those dots represent people who moved away. The state health department found problems with people who still live. So thank you very much for your time and attention to this important matter.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Mary Chandler.
Okay. I live in Berkeley. I've been in St. Louis County pretty much all my life and grown up. I've watched over the years the treatment of the police of St. Louis County, and I am up here to request that there's some type of measure for some police reform for St. Louis County. There needs to be a more transparent way of tracking the history of police officers when they're fired or when they have issues when it comes to the citizens and the treatment of the citizens. It needs to be open to the public more, so that way there are actions that can be taken against these officers when they are repeat offenders of how they treat and do the citizens. We won't have as much, I guess, unrest as they're going on in Ferguson right now if there was a little bit more transparency. Secondly, I am one of the protesters that's out in Ferguson, and to me, it just seems as if you want us to go away. You don't want to hear what we have to say. Sit down, have a conversation with us. Only thing we're saying is that we want to be heard. We want changes. There's clearly a problem. You can see over and over again the comments that are made. As we stand out there and protest, people tell us to go home, go get jobs. I've been on my job for 10 years. I'm a federal employee. I'm a civil servant. And I can clearly see the problem. And most of you who sit here can see the problem too. The difference between me and you is that you guys have a way that you can make a phone call and make problems for your kids go away. We don't. I feel like there should be more compassion about the situations that go on with the communities. There's no way to file complaints with the police. They brush you off, go away. They treat the residents like crap. If they didn't, it wouldn't be so many people having so many problems. There needs to be a change. There needs to be some type of reform with the police, the way they do things, how transparent their records are. If they're held accountable, then there wouldn't be as many problems as we have. Right now, it feels like the police, it's them against us. And it's confirmed by the comments that are made over and over again. But we all have had run-ins. I'm 36. I've been pulled over for no reason. I've been written tickets for no reason, loud music. I hardly even turn my radio on when I'm in the car, but because I was staring at a police officer, she decided she wanted to pull me over. And when she ran and saw that I had no problems, she wrote me a ticket for loud music and no seatbelt. You know, I just find it appalling. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Next speaker is Taylor Payne. Taylor Payne.
Smoke clouds make my ear really bad, so thanks to your officers. My hearing is not that great. Okay, am I starting? All right, hello. For the past 4 weeks, I've come and told you about my experiences with St. Louis County PD while exercising my rights to protest. I've shared the fear I felt when your officers sat outside the school located on St. Mark's Church, the anger and violation I felt when they raided the church and removed milk and Malax that was used to treat tear gas. I've pleaded with you to rebuild your community, to rebuild my trust with your officers so that I don't have an anxiety attack when I'm driving around by myself and I see flashing lights. I've asked for the health department to investigate what this tear gas that's expired for the past 20 years is doing to my body. All of my concerns have fallen on deaf ears. I checked the health department's website, and they're concerned about Ebola, apparently, with no cases in Missouri that I know of, but not the tear gas. You continue to meet with the police, with the FBI, the governor, an assortment of other people besides myself and other citizens, all of you. None of you have individually reached out to myself or anyone else that comes up here and speaks to you. You won't face the people that you've wronged. So please remember, at whatever the outcome of this decision and the fallout afterwards, that it's all your fault. every one of you that's writing right now, that's not paying attention, that's not looking me in my eye, that hasn't listened for the past 4 weeks when I come up here and speak, all of you, every last one of you, and officers in this room, if you don't open your mouths about what you've seen, are all at fault because none of you have made an attempt to fix this problem at all. None of you. You've all failed. So whatever comes from this, whatever happens to this city, whatever happens, do not blame protesters, agitators, or whatever, adjectives you decide to give us for the media. Blame yourselves, because I will and everyone else will as well.
Good evening. My name is Carl Chappell, and I've lived in Florissant for the past 40 years. In 1953, my father, went to work for Mellencroft Chemical Works. We lived 4 blocks from the 7th Street warehouse where they stored all the contaminated material before they moved it to the airport. In 1969, my father died of renal cancer. At the time I moved to Florissant, in 1974, I had a 3-year-old son. He, like all the other kids in the neighborhood, all played in Coldwater Creek. He currently has appendix cancer, which is one of the most rarest cancers that is on the books. And there's one cancer out of 381,000 other cancer cases. So I urge all of you that we have to continue to make sure that the Army Corps of Engineers has the funding that they need to complete the project. They currently have cleaned about half of Coldwater Creek. They haven't cleaned anything north of 270, which is the area that's going to run through Hazelwood, Florissant, and Spanish Lake. In those areas itself, they've already taken 2,000 soil samples, but they had to stop work on that side of the highway because they had to help finish a project or remediate a project itself that MSD was working on. So they have to make sure that the funding is there because we still have over 8 miles of Coldwater Creek to check. And the problem that you're going to have today that they didn't face before is the first leg and half of the Coldwater Creek was in an area which was mainly commercial. The balance of that creek is all in residential areas. It has flooded time and time again. We know that the contamination is there, it's random, but we have to make sure that the Army Corps of Engineers gets the funding that they need to finish that project, okay? So I urge all of you to put pressure on our federal, congressmen and senators to make sure that we get that project completed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Kay Dry.
Hello, my name is Kay Dry. I live at 515 West Point Avenue in University City. I support the important resolution that the St. Louis County Council is considering to expedite the removal of radioactive waste from Coldwater Creek in North St. Louis County. I also would like to urge you to continue to encourage the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to work to remove Westlake landfill waste from our county. This cleanup could include the use of a movable temporary shelter that can keep radioactive gases and particles from escaping and that can avoid attracting birds. Coldwater Creek and Westlake contain the same radioactive waste from the development of the world's earliest atomic bombs. Uranium, thorium, thallium, and radium are part of that waste, and as we all know, these radioactive materials can cause cancer, birth defects, and shortening of life. The wastes, some of which will remain dangerous for millions of years, have been migrating and will continue to migrate into the rivers that provide drinking water for St. Louis County and the city of St. Louis, unless they are removed. The federal government made the nuclear weapons and has the moral responsibility to clean up and remove the dangerous wastes that remain. As members of today's County Council, you have a vital role to play towards saving lives and improving the health and safety of today's and future St. Louis County residents. The evidence of the dangers of the wastes in Coldwater Creek and in the Missouri River floodplain at Westlake Landfill needs your guidance and command. Your courage and commitment to make certain these radioactive wastes are removed from St. Louis County may be one of the most important and permanent decisions you will ever have the opportunity to make as St. Louis County's top political leaders. You have an opportunity to protect St. Louis County's air, water, land, and residents. We need you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sanders?
My name is Yvette Townsend Sanders, and as you know, I too have been to probably the last 4 or 5 St. Louis County meetings. I've lived in St. Louis County since 1980, and never in my life have I been so moved, so moved. I'm not out on the streets protesting, but I understand why they're protesting, and something has to be done. I think that we as a people need to have more personal involvement with our own St. Louis County government, because so much has gone awry. The ultimate, Dr. Martin Luther King, the ultimate measure of a man is not where you stand during times of comfort and convenience, but where you stand during times of trouble and controversy. And we can't keep going on the way that we're going. I want to share an experience that I had, and I want you to tell me how I'm supposed to have confidence in the police, how I'm supposed to have confidence in St. Louis County government. As I told you, I never had a police record. I don't carry a gun, don't even know how to use a gun, although I've always been around hunters and fishermen. As I told you, I was lied on by my husband's son, and I was lied on by St. Louis County Police. A loan came to our home. I asked my husband about it. He said it was his son's loan. I went to his son's house. I knocked on the door. I asked him, I said, why would you want to destroy your father's credit when you knew it took me years to get it straightened? He never opened the door. Never opened the door. I left. I went across the street. I was in that house for probably over an hour. The police came. I had no dreams they were there for me. When I went out, the female police officer, dark hair, she didn't want to look in my face. I thought, is she on drugs? Is she drunk? I thought it was strange. So they put me in the car, didn't tell me I was arrested or what I was being arrested for. They took my car keys, and gave them to my accuser, who told the police that I had a gun and I threatened to kill him. I wouldn't have even known how to do that. Okay? When I looked over and saw my keys, I asked the police officer in the car, I said, why does he have my keys? He asked the other female police officer to go and get my keys, which he did. I guess they had planned to put a gun in my car, because when I got the police report, which they never would give me, when I read the police report, it stated that the police had encountered me, and I told them that I was going to kill someone. When I got my car back, the police didn't tow my car. Someone took my car, whose house that I was in. When I got my car back, I could see that my car had been ransacked. I had a pair of clean underwear in a pocket that I was going to go someplace else, to another county. And when I got my car back, my underwear was laying on the dashboard. Obviously, the police had been in it. When I got downtown to the police, when I was arrested and taken to Clayton, my husband's ex-wife was coming through the jail. okay? I believe I would have been killed. Why would a police officer say that I've threatened to kill someone? When I went to St. Louis County courts in Hazelwood, I made a comment recently about not trusting someone with hard shoes. The St. Louis County prosecutor didn't allow me to speak with the judge. I asked the judge for a police report, the judge gave me a police report. But the St. Louis County prosecutor in Hazelwood was very angry. When I went to Clayton, they were angry at the review board as a joke.
20 seconds to wrap up, ma'am.
Okay, but something needs to be done. How do you expect me to trust when I hear something on the news now because of my own personal experience and when I listen to others that I had never heard before? How can I trust what I hear? Something needs to be done.
Molly?
Hi, again. I missed last week because there was traffic. I'm sure y'all missed me about as much as I missed you. I wanted to talk again about police harassment in the county and the fact that not one of you has said a single thing about it. Say something. Come on. How hard is it? You have microphones. I see them. Just say, hey, I don't like police brutality, and I don't think police should harass people. That's all we're asking for. We've stopped even asking you for a resolution because we know that you won't do it. You do not give a about black people. It's been made clear. Please, just say something. Something, anything. Or just say, hey, I really don't like black people. I really love when police harass them. I think that's awesome. Say that. Say something. Pick a side. Which side are you on?
I just want to comment, and I'm speaking for myself, and I think all of the council members. I don't think any of us agree with police harassment. I know I don't, and I don't think any of my fellow council members do.
They can speak for themselves.
Who's up?
Who's the next speaker?
Jamel Span?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Jamel Span, but I also identify with Mike Brown, and I also identify with the name, in case you are hard of reading, unarmed civilian. But more than that in a second. I'm not here to ask you to arrest Darren Wilson because it's obvious that your board has neither the power nor the competence to pull off the job. That's obviously something me and the people are going to have to task ourselves with once we, reform this entire establishment. I'm here to ask for some accountability because every time I talk to somebody who is affiliated with the board of this state, like, you probably didn't know that Attorney General Coster came and talked to me when we were occupying the hell out of SLU. And he said one of his plans for what I can only see as appeasing my people who have been protesting was to hire more minority cops. As if to say he was going to pass off the responsibility for policing our streets to what, more people who look like us? We already have the interviews of why people hired Devin James, because hiring a murderous black guy, it was obviously a good PR stunt, such as the stunt that certain senators pulled last night. I'm here to demand accountability. I'm here to demand that somebody on your board has the respect and honor of being a human being to stand up and say, you know what, this was my department, this is my fault, this is what I shall devote my time and money to. I don't want to see you hire other people to pass off the responsibility and accountability on them anymore. We've been protesting for 74 days. 74 days. 74 days. And I am sick and tired of having my people oppressed. And after 74 days, you now decide to say that you are against police brutality. But every time, the evidence is clearly there that police are going above and beyond to treat us like subhuman beings. You have yet to devote any time and money to stamping them out. Nobody has taken the responsibility and said, I shall step down, I shall fire this person. And it's not going to stop with just one person. You're trying to wait us out because we all know how this indictment is going to go? Are you so afraid of addressing the people? Are you so afraid of the backlash for your actions that you're doing nothing? You are so afraid to sacrifice anything to compromise that you are doing nothing. You are so afraid of having to relinquish anything, you are doing nothing. And silence is consent. The only thing worse than an evil oppressor are people who have the power to stand up using their voice and simply let the oppression go uncombated, unconfronted. How do you look yourselves in the mirror and know that you may see a black man in a hoodie? When I look in the mirror, I see a human being. When I look at you, I see human beings who have responsibilities and duties to provide us with the peace and justice that we are sacrificing our lives to provide our own community. Power to the people, our people everywhere. Partner.
And after Mr. Love, our final speaker will be Heather DeMayan.
Hey, how are you? So my name is Matt Love. I am a rock and roll musician from New Orleans, Louisiana. I should be focused on my music career right now, but I can't. I moved to St. Louis to base my career out of this town, and there's something else going on. And I've been an independent activist for going on, let's just say, my entire life. I've stood up for people that are oppressed. I've stood up against bullies, and I've stopped it. That's what I do. Okay? I'm here for one reason.
You have to speak to the council.
I'm here for one reason. I want peace. Now, how do we get there? How do we have peace in Ferguson? How do we have peace in St. Louis, Missouri? Justice. Do we not have a system in place for justice? If I, Matt Love, am accused either by an individual or by the police department of murder, what happens to me? I get a trial, do I not? In front of people that have no prior knowledge of the case. Right? I don't care if we have to take Darren Wilson to Hong Kong. The grand jury. Does a man that's not even from St. Louis have to stand up here to let you guys know that a grand jury is rigged?
Mr. Love.
Now here's the deal.
Mr.
We
Love,
want justice, then we can have peace.
Could he go? If you don't use if you're going to use profanity, you have to leave. The police officer told
Others
you
have used
back there to
profanity,
take
and all
your
of a
head
sudden
off.
I'm being singled
She told you
out.
for 5 minutes to take your head off, and you finally took it off, and then you put it on the way up.
Respect gets respect.
Well, give respect then.
No justice, no peace.
Last speaker this evening is Heather DeMayan or Demian. Heather? Heather? Oh, I'm sorry.
Sonny, you're gonna have to go.
You know, normally a police officer would have taken it upon themselves to provide the safety and security for one of the people they sort of protect to approach the stand, but I guess I must be living in the wrong era.
I'm not sure why my stream just went blurry, but, okay. Speaking of police brutality, I couldn't find all of your Twitter handles. I found Ms. Irby, Mr. Clay, and Mr. Singer, and I sent you links to videos of police brutality, but I never got any response. Just saying. I'd like to talk a little bit about racial profiling and white privilege in St. Louis, St. Louis County, Ferguson, actually all of the little municipalities. I've heard, that many people from Ferguson have testified that they have been pulled over for no reason whatsoever. The other day, a couple weeks ago, my mother and I are having lunch, and she turns to me and says, "Oh, I got my taillight fixed yesterday." Your taillight? The one you mentioned 6 weeks ago. Yeah. You've been driving around a zillion police in St. Louis County and the city and multiple municipalities with a broken taillight for 6 weeks, and you did not get pulled over. There's no other explanation other than her white privilege. And the police departments in this area need to examine that problem. I think I'm going to cut it short.
That would conclude the public forum. Introduction of bills, please.
Bill number 239, introduced by Councilmember O'Meara, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept a grant of up to $3,000 from the Regional Business Council, appropriating the same for purchase of a commercial refrigerator for the Spanish Lake Youth Center, and authorizing the county executive to execute necessary documents. Bill number 240, introduced by Councilmember Irby, an ordinance approving acceptance of 2 donations totaling $44,840 from the Nestle Purina Pet Care Company and appropriating same for support of the Animal Care and Control Division. Bill number 241, introduced by Councilmember Irby, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with Election Administrators LLC for purchase and implementation of an electronic poll book system. Bill number 242, introduced by Councilmember Page, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with Mallinckrodt LLC for participation in the cost of commercial entrance improvements at 675 James S. McDonald Boulevard. Bill number 243, introduced by Councilmember Irby, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a contract with Carlene Williams for lease of space in Young Shopping Center located at 900 West Washington in Marshfield, Missouri, for use by the Dairy Control Unit of the St. Louis County Department of Health. Bill number 244, introduced by Councilmember Irby, an ordinance appropriating and setting apart the sum of $47,553.37 from the unappropriated balance of the general fund for reimbursement for 4 total losses to police department vehicles. Bill number 245, introduced by Councilmember Stanger, an ordinance amending the St. Louis County zoning ordinance and the official zoning district maps by changing the boundaries of the R5 Residence District and the R6A Residence District as provided herein. PC 23-14, Lee May Homes Incorporated. Bill number 246, introduced by Councilmember Stanger, an ordinance amending the St. Louis County zoning ordinance and the official zoning district maps by changing the boundaries of the C2 Shopping District and the R6A Residence District as provided herein. PC 24-14, Lee May Homes Incorporated. Bill number 247, introduced by Councilmember Stanger, an ordinance amending the St. Louis County zoning ordinance and the official zoning district maps by changing the boundaries of the C2 Shopping District and the R5 Residence District as provided herein. PC 25-14, Lee May Homes Incorporated. Madam Chair, that is all the bills.
Perfection of bills.
Bill number 8, introduced by Councilmember O'Meara.
Hold, please.
So ordered.
Bill number 69, introduced by Councilmember Irby.
Please hold, and that will be the order.
Bill number 218, introduced by Councilmember Irby.
Hold, and that will be the order.
Bill number 231, introduced by Councilmember Dolan.
Please hold.
So ordered.
Bill number 232, introduced by Councilmember Irby.
I move for perfection of bill number 232.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
I abstain.
Is it an aye or is it opposed?
I'm opposed.
Did you want a roll call vote on that,
I
Madam
thought we were
Chair?
gonna get more information.
Okay,
on it.
roll call, please.
Councilmember Erby?
Thought
Aye.
we were gonna get more information, that's why.
Is that's not the one? Aye.
Councilmember
Madam
Page?
Chair, can we hold it?
Does everybody want to hold it?
Yeah, I just need some more information. That's why I'm abstaining.
Yeah, you said the other one.
I know, I
Okay.
didn't mean the other one.
Okay, a hold on that one, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill number 235, introduced by Councilmember Dolan for Councilmember Erby.
I move for perfection of bill number 235.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 235 is perfected.
Bill number 236, introduced by Councilmember Dolan for Councilmember Erby.
I move for perfection of bill number 236.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 236 is perfected.
Bill number 237, introduced by Councilmember Stanger.
I move for perfection of bill number 237.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 237 is perfected.
Bill number 238, introduced by Councilmember O'Meara for Councilmember Page.
I move to perfect Bill number 238.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 238 is perfected. Final passage of bills.
Bill number 229, introduced by Councilmember Erby.
I move for final passage of bill number 229.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby.
Aye.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember Stanger.
Aye.
Councilmember Quinn.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on bill number 229, there are 7 ayes.
Bill number 229 is finally passed.
Bill number 230, introduced by Councilmembers Wassinger and Dolan.
I move for final passage of Bill number 230.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby.
Aye.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember Stanger.
Aye.
Councilmember Quinn.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on bill number 230, there are 7 ayes.
Bill number 230 is finally passed.
Bill number 233, introduced by Councilmember Stanger.
I move for final passage of bill number 233.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby.
Aye.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember Stanger.
Aye.
Councilmember Quinn.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on bill number 233, there are 7 ayes.
Bill number 233 is finally passed.
Bill number 234, introduced by Councilmember Erby.
I move for final passage of bill number 234.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby.
Aye.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember Stanger.
Aye.
Councilmember Quinn.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on bill number 234, there are 7 ayes.
Bill number 234 is finally passed.
Moving on to resolutions, Madam Chair, we have 2 this evening. Resolution number 1, introduced by Councilmembers O'Meara and Dolan.
I'd like to move for adoption of resolution number 1.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby.
Aye.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger.
Was this resolution 1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Aye.
Councilmember O'Meara.
Aye.
Councilmember Dolan.
Aye.
Councilmember Stanger.
Aye.
Councilmember Quinn.
Aye.
Madam Chair, on resolution number 1, there are 7 ayes.
Resolution number 1 is adopted.
Resolution number 2, introduced by Councilmembers Page, Erby, Wassinger, O'Meara, Dolan, Stanger, and Quinn.
Move adoption for Council Member 2, and I'd just like to make a brief statement, if that's in order, Madam Chair. I'd just like to thank the folks that came to testify tonight. This is the first time that we've had statistically significant data presented by a government agency to answer a question that's been on the minds of a lot of people in North County for at least a couple of decades. And I'd like to thank everybody on the council for unanimously supporting this resolution. We really need to keep the fire on our federally elected officials, and this council will do everything within our power to do that, to make sure we have the resources to address this issue. And I'd like to thank everybody for their support and their testimony.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Erby.
Aye.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Wassinger?
Aye.
Councilmember O'Meara?
If it's okay, Sam, could you add me to?
You're on it.
I appreciate that. I grew up in this hot spot. We moved in Wedgewood in 1964. And then when I got married, we moved right across the creek to Willow Creek and lived there for 18 years. And I've seen it not only through our parishioners, but our neighbors, many cases of different types of cancer. And when you're a little kid, you really don't realize where it came from or how it happened. It just scared the heck out of you when you're a kid and didn't know if you're the next individual to come across that. So, Sam, I appreciate you taking the stronghold here and moving forward with this. I know there's been a lot of studies and a lot of people that I grew up that have been wanting answers for some time. And appreciate you taking the lead on this.
Thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Councilmember Dolan?
Aye.
Councilmember Stanger?
Aye.
Councilmember Quinn?
Aye.
Madam Chair, on resolution number 2, there are 7 ayes.
Resolution number 2 is adopted.
Moving on to unfinished business, item number 1, 4th District.
Hold, please.
So ordered.
Item number 2, 6th District.
Hold, please.
So ordered.
Item number 3, 5th District.
Please hold.
So ordered.
And under new business this evening, Madam Chair, we have 3 prepared orders.
I move for adoptions of orders 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Orders number 1, 2, and 3 are adopted.
Move we adjourn. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.